Hey guys, welcome. Welcome aboard. If you're brand new, welcome back. If you are not, and if this is appropriate for you, I would say welcome home. Let's talk, please, about what is up this week. This is the week of the 16th through the 22nd of June, 2025. We're talking about astrology, energy, uh, all those good things. Just trying to figure out how to work with energy in the best way that we can, right? So here we go. This is, yep. So we are in the thick of it right now for this summer. This is one of the most speed bumpy periods of time, as we talked about last week. Hello. So let's get rolling. On Monday, that Aquarius moon is going to trine the Gemini sun, sextile Chiron, square Uranus, and oppose Mars before the moon moves into Pisces in the afternoon. And that Pisces moon will trine Jupiter. So on Monday, your emotions might be a little seesawy, or you might have what could be sudden clarity regarding your commitments, your current commitments, right? So pay attention and deepen as it's warranted and where it's aligned. And absolutely do not be afraid to change course if that alignment shows itself to be off. Okay, so always source checking as you move along. So uh, be absolutely open to creating kind of like new and up-leveled plans that would support any of those new and clarified priorities. So that heart-led movement will absolutely um, take you in that new direction. So just allow it, right? It might even feel like it's easy to follow if you're in flow. On Tuesday, the sun sextiles Chiron. Mars moves into Virgo, and this is very early in the morning, in the wee hours of the morning. That Pisces moon will sextile Venus and trine Mercury. So overnight, Mercury's shift into Virgo, right? That new energy of Mars in Virgo after Mars in Leo is going to absolutely be palpable. All of the plans that you've been making, right? And we know we've all been making those plans, are going to finally start to be at a place where you can activate them. So start to tackle the chores on your to-do list, right? Even the ones that you've been actively avoiding are going to be much easier to accomplish now. Uh, Pay attention though and mind the details. Do not rush to finish these tasks. Remember, they've probably been on your list for a while. So make sure that even though the getting stuff done is important, also equally important is that the doing it right is going to matter. Right? So take your time. On Wednesday, that Pisces moon. Whoa, yeah, I saw you. I got you. That Pisces moon um, squares the sun, sextiles Uranus, and then the moon moves into Aries. The Aries moon will quincunx Mars, will conjunct Saturn and Neptune, square Jupiter, and then Jupiter squares Neptune, and the moon will sextile retrograding Pluto. So Wednesday might prove difficult. The moon is going to make some dicey kind of aspects that create a general tendency to be frustrated, and it's kind of a slippery energy. So it might either make it hard to feel like your feet are on the ground. It might make it hard to feel like you can get any traction on these things you want to move on, right? So after dinner on Wednesday, when the moon moves into Aries, things can start to feel a little reactive. So um, there are these building, the building Jupiter Neptune square in those cardinal signs might have you going to bed a little bit ragey, or even worse, a little confused about your own trajectory, right? Where you're going. So here's the thing, breathe and ask for some dream time guidance, right? Remember, this is a Jupiter Neptune square. Ask for some dream time guidance. Neptune uh, is all about it. So a late night, that late night moon sextiling Pluto retrograde can absolutely add to that possibility of insight. So again, ask for insight and you will get it. On Thursday, the 19th, Mars, newly minted in Virgo, quincunxes Saturn. So on Thursday, it might feel hard to stay on point, right? This is Mars in Virgo, quincunxing Saturn. So it's the way you're doing things and the structure in which you do them. So that building Jupiter Neptune energy really compounds this Mars quincunx Saturn, making clarity and function very much out of the realm of probability. Here's the thing, on Thursday, double down on real self care, right? Not distraction, not addiction, not avoidance. Um, this isn't like, let me turn myself into scroll human. No, no, no. This isn't let me get myself lost in television. This is active self care, real self care. Um, just let that happen, right? Absolutely. On Friday, the 20th, that Aries moon will square Mercury, will conjunct Chiron, will sextile the sun, and then the moon moves into Taurus. And at 9:42 p.m. Central Time, the sun moves into Cancer. Ta-da! Happy summer solstice. And then Mars quincunxes Saturn. Okay, here's the deal. I'm sorry, Neptune. Mars quincunxes Neptune, having quincunxed Saturn on Thursday. So here's the deal. We have the Sun and Jupiter, right, in Cancer, squaring Saturn and Neptune in Aries. Okay, so we are kind of revisiting that the full moon themes, right? This is home and family and how we build our experience there in those realms, individually and collectively. Now, here's the deal. This is Cancer season. We have Jupiter newly moved into Cancer. So this is the season to bask in abundance, to witness the lush fullness of summer, to enjoy the fruits of our labors, the gifts of the universe, right? To enjoy our hopes and our dreams as well. Equally as important is courage to identify the things that are in your way of experiencing those things. So this is whether it's individual or collective, whether it's tangible or intangible, whether it's real or imagined, and have the presence not only to correct anything that's out of alignment, right, but to also correct ourselves and our perspectives to those things, um, and to correct ourselves in anywhere where we are recreating patterns that chose the way that we may or may not have either kept ourselves in fractal discord or chosen ourselves into fractal expansion, right? Um, it is time to embrace that self 2.0, as the case may be. So see what you can do with that. On Saturday, the 21st, that Taurus moon is going to trine Mars, sextile Jupiter, and square Pluto. Now, here's the deal. Overnight aspects on Saturday might create ease in the challenging nature of the way the energy is So you might wake up Saturday very rested, very ready to tackle some long overdue projects in your home or your home space, right? Lean in, clear the deep clutter, release your crap and feel it as layers and layers of, let's call it, held onto tension, just dissolve, right? This is more than a 3D project. So feel that, right? Allow yourself to feel that. And then on Sunday, the 22nd, that Taurus moon is going to conjunct Venus. Mars in Virgo will sextile Jupiter. The moon will sextile Mercury. The Cancer sun squares Saturn. The moon will conjunct Uranus. And then in the evening before bedtime, the moon moves into Gemini. So on Sunday, this is like a whew, finally, right? As Mars and Jupiter kind of join in the momentum, the movement. So keep going on that project front on Sunday. You might shock yourself with what you're able to get done. And if your brain decides to go kind of on walkabout midday, keep pushing through um, because the goal and the accomplishment um, definitely really want to remind you of your why here. So let your sense of purpose be the driver there. Um, and the relief that you should feel come evening will be definitely the reward for that. So on Sunday, power through, power through, power through. Absolutely. All right, let's talk. So Monday, we have the 8 and the 6 of Swords. Now, this is actually really lovely as a pair. We talked about how your emotions might seesaw, or you might have some clarity about your commitments. So, any place where you're feeling like you're stuck or bound, um, you have the opportunity to really be open to that up leveled plan. Um, and remember that what you're doing is creating your priority, right? And if you're feeling stuck about something, then that's probably not your priority, but you also have the capacity to move away from anything that is creating this unhappiness or unpleasantness in your field, right? Don't be afraid to change course, right? You'll have that assistance if the alignment is off. If it's uncomfortable, you have the capacity to move away from it. Do not deny that heart led movement. Absolutely not. On Tuesday, we have the Eight of Pentacles and the King of Swords. All right. We talked about this as the day where you finally get to do some moving, right? On some things that have been uh, on your list for a while, right? Tackle the chores, even the ones that you've been avoiding. So the thing is, do not rush, right? This Eight of Pentacles reminds you, even though the compulsion might be strong, the need for devotion and dedication is equally as important. So do not rush to the finish. Remember that devotion to the task is really, honestly, most of the labor, right? We have the Ace of Swords and the Five of Swords on Wednesday. We talked about a day that could prove difficult, right? That we might feel frustration, we might feel a slippery kind of energy, right? So if you're feeling that, don't get reactive. Remember, we talked about this as the day that the moon moves into Aries. Well, here's the deal. If you start feeling ragey, if you start feeling like you're in your own way and you're not really in this absolutely beautiful energetic of this ace, right? Remember, aces are gifts from the universe. We take them into our control and then we put them into use. We don't shove them in a drawer. We don't put them in our pocket. We don't say, oh, I'll do that later. No, no, no. This is an idea that has to be acted on, it has to be put into motion, right? So remember, breathe and just ask for that dream time guidance if that's what you need. Remembering that you will always get help when you need it, right? You don't have to stand on ceremony here. You don't have to stand on whatever that Five of Swords blockage is, whatever your resistance is. You get to ask for help, and help will always appear. Ta-da! We have the Chariot and the Fool. This is lovely energy for Thursday. We talked about how this might make it a hard day to stay on point, right? And really doubling down on your self-care. Here's the deal: the chariot is about balanced forward motion, and the Fool asks you to trust that process. So if you're not making progress in a way that feels natural and enjoyable to you, take the time take the time to do real self-care, right? Not nonsense self-care, not some kind of, like I said, this is not your day to numb out. This is not your day to utilize binge watching or doom scrolling as your um, form of self care, right? Sometimes we do need that empty brain time, but this is not that day. This is active self care day. This is intentional self care day. So be mindful, right? Be mindful of the way that you're taking care of you, especially on Thursday. On Friday, we have the Six of Cups and Justice. We talked about this as that day where we're revisiting um, our full moon themes, right? And this is a beautiful summer solstice card, right? This really brings us back into that nostalgic, innocent, we have everything that we need, unconditional love kind of energy. Justice brings us into balance with that, right? We talked about having the courage to identify any things that are in your way, right? Individually or collectively, tangibly or intangibly, real or imagined, right? And absolutely have the presence to correct them in ourselves and to correct ourselves as well, right? This is a day to dig deep and to be super honest about how you get to this state and what it means to you. You have all of the strength to draw on, especially in this Cancer season. This is all about how you are nurtured, how you create that depth of space that is home for you, to you, and as you, right? So don't look away from it, right? And don't get too in your head about it. This is about how you experience it, right? Jupiter is there in Cancer too. This is how do you create it and then amplify it. So go big, right? This is not the time to parse yourself or curate. Oh, I can't. That would just be overdoing it. No, 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 no. That's the season. Be all in it. Um, on Saturday, you have the Empress and the Page of Pentacles. This is lovely energy, right? We talked about this as the day to get stuff done, right? To lean in, to clear that clutter and realize that you're clearing it on different levels, right? The Empress, she is that beautiful representation of that home energy. So dig into your home. Who knows what you might discover? And the fact of the matter is, what you're creating is something absolutely luscious and beautiful for yourself. And it will come very easily, right? Um, and feel it as it's on all of the levels. Why not? And then on Sunday, you've got the Wheel and the Star. Come on, these are lovely. So, as we talked, Mars and Jupiter join this momentum, right? And the wheel is going to carry that forward. This is about renewal. This is about hope. This is about wishes fulfilled. So, be in that space of motion, right? Understanding that everything cycles through. And look, I mean, come on, these are so absolutely beautiful. What is the universe offering you but a brand new way to move through your own cycle, right? And remember, if your brain decides to kind of take a little break, just keep going, right? Remember that the wheel is always going to turn no matter what kind of momentum it has. But absolutely pay attention to those patterns that are keeping you in that state of either fractal discord or fractal flow, right? That wheel is always moving, just like those fractal patterns that create your life. Let your consciousness pull you through with that why. People are amazing. Look, it's true. Okay. So pay attention to the people in your life, right? There is no doubting that those people that you spend the most time with are the people that you become. So make sure that the people in your life are as amazing as you are and as you want to be, right? Always keep somebody in your pocket that makes you stretch, that makes you learn, that as actually has you reaching to be better. For whatever that means, right? And as you work on this sense of home, don't forget that you're creating your home space so that you can fill it with joy. Mm, yeah, other people have to show up in your space. Otherwise, it's kind of lonely, right? You have the uncharted sea. Look, which we give this again. We have our symbol showing up again. This beautiful eightfold wheel here on this compass. So the uncharted sea, right? This is key concepts. Stepping into the unknown without a map, moving beyond your comfort zone, choosing to do things differently, trusting in the ebb and flow of life, being in the dark and let curiosity lead, the faith that all will be well. Your comfort zone is sometimes exactly that, a safe, familiar harbor that you've come to in yourself. You have a sense that you don't need more than what is available right where you've landed in life. Now, however, is not one of those times. And remember, we're talking about being an active creation of your new up-leveled comfort zone. So let's see what else here. Like the archetypical hero's journey, the universe is inviting you to step into uncharted waters. Something is stirring. Adventure is calling. You may want to resist this urge because it will involve leaving your comfort zone, but embarking on this journey is essential for your well being. Absolutely. Cards of motion. All this shift and change, all of this release. Navigating the uncharted aspects of yourself mean you won't have a map because no one else has ever been here. On this journey, you cannot rely on the help you would typically expect from others who have gone before you. This new territory is yours to explore. You're invited to be a pioneer, a path maker, a magical cartographer who draws your map with your own life force as the ink. Ooh, I like that. This is the day to dive into a novel experience and fully immerse yourself in the new. Mm-hmm. You don't know what the sea of possibility has in store for you, so stay curious and refrain from judgment or the need to label. Give yourself the time and freedom to be curious, absolutely, without the limitations and boundaries projected by your memories or expectations, right? Just because you know what it feels like doesn't mean you have to recreate your past. You're not. You're bringing forth what you need as opposed to what has been prescribed for you in the past, okay? You are in an amazing place right now, and you will never be the same for surveying these waters. No kidding, right? We're working on leaving all of our conflicts behind. We're working on doing the hard work now, right? We're talking about Jupiter and the Sun and Saturn and Neptune. How can we create structure beyond our own expectations that will carry us forward, right? Is it any accident that we start with the Six of Swords and end with the uncharted sea? Absolutely not. This is all about the journey of your own expansion. So be the most amazing person you know, right? You've got this. And honestly, this is what I want you to know. After this week, it starts to get easier, guys. Okay? So hold up, keep breathing, and do this work. This is trajectory setting. So don't back off now, right? Don't back off. Don't back off. You've got this. Be blessed. See you next time.